What's going on, guys? Austin Zabak here with another YouTube video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the top 5 mistakes when flipping or renovating a house. Okay, so typically on my channel, if you're brand new here, we talk about business, about finance, and about real estate. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. So as you can see, I'm obviously standing in a kitchen right now in a property that we're currently renovating, okay? Now, just a little bit of backstory and then we'll jump right into it. I've actually been flipping real estate. I've been owning real estate, buying it, keeping rental properties, Airbnb properties, all of that stuff for a little over probably about 6 or so years now. And I'm 25 years old. I'm a normal average guy, okay? I didn't grow up with a bunch of money or anything. I just did one, started there, and then kept going from there, obviously. So we're gonna go ahead and basically kind of tell you exactly what we did with this property, and then kind of how we bought it, and then ultimately the biggest mistakes that we've made when flipping properties. So if you ever wanted to get into real estate, you wanna flip a property, you wanna be like those people you see on HGTV, then this will be a good video for you. So definitely take just a quick minute if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it if you would just smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Okay, so we bought this property for $250,000. Okay, obviously we didn't buy it in cash. We actually got a hard private money loan on it, and we're paying a little bit of a high interest rate. But again, when renovating a property, if you're gonna flip it, then it's not too big of a deal as long as your exit strategy is to sell the deal within a short period of time, okay? Or obviously you could refinance it and it could be a rental property, whatever, but I won't get too much into that in the video. I've made other videos on that, obviously. So $250,000 purchase price. Now it's probably worth about $499,000 when we're done renovating it, okay? Which we're about done, and I'm gonna show you everything here in just a moment, so make sure you stay to the very end. But basically, we're putting about $75,000 worth of renovations into this particular property, and I'll show you what it looked like before, okay? So definitely stay tuned for that. Then I'll show you what it looks like now, and then if you stay on my channel, you subscribe, I'll show you what it looks like, in a couple of weeks from now. So basically, $250,000 to buy it, $75,000 to renovate it, you're at about 3.25, and then call it another $25,000 in holding costs and closing costs and stuff like that. And then obviously we'll have to pay a real estate agent. I am a real estate agent, but we'll list it for free. But basically we'll still have to pay a buyer's agent to sell it for us. So when you factor that in as well, maybe you're all in at call it $350, $360 worst case scenario, right? So it's looking like a pretty good flip property. We should make over 6 figures on one property, okay? Now, this is 100% doable, even though the market's crazy and everybody's talking about there's no inventory, right? Supply's really low, demand's really high. I get it. I've seen all the videos on YouTube. I've made a lot of the videos on YouTube. I totally get it. But this is still doable. So don't let anybody tell you that you can't find a good deal, because you definitely can find a good deal. It is a little bit tougher right now, but you can always find a good deal in any market. So let's just go ahead and break down all of the mistakes that we've made when flipping this particular property, okay? When we actually bought this property, the seller told us that it had mold, okay? So the first time, believe it or not, and I'll show you on the screen, that I came and toured the property, I had to wear a hazmat suit in Arizona in the middle of the summer to tour the property. Now, when we initially had bought it, we factored that in. We thought that was gonna be a bunch of money and whatever, right? So we got it at a super low price to basically factor that potential cost in, okay? And it didn't end up actually having mold. We got a mold inspector out here and it tested that it had no mold at all. It had 0 mold, okay? So basically we didn't have to actually do anything there. So I wouldn't necessarily say that that was a mistake, but just something to kind of keep in mind as I walk through the overall property, right? I actually nailed that one because we got the property as if there was mold, but there didn't end up being mold, so it put us in a good situation. The potential mistake we could have made is, suspected that there wasn't mold, and then there ended up being mold, and now we're over budget, okay? So it put us in a pretty good situation there, but let's just go ahead and kind of walk around, and I'm gonna show you everything about the property. So we're here at the back of the house right now, and this is kind of a little nook, and I'll show you a little bit of before and after, but basically what I initially wanted to do when I looked at the property is I initially wanted to either get rid of this weird addition, because a lot of times when you buy houses below market value, there's a lot of weird additions, and I don't know why people just do weird additions when it comes to real estate and their house or whatever. So at one point or another, people did a weird addition here, and it is a step down. So I don't know if you can see me right now, but this is a step down from the main house, and the ceiling's also a little bit low right here. So it's kind of weird because when you walk in the front door, there's like this slider that we put in, this like sliding glass door, and it's kind of all like really low because of the like step down, right? And I wanted to fill it in with concrete and raise the roof up, or just get rid of it altogether, okay? But we didn't end up doing that. And so one of the mistakes that I would say I see a lot of people do is they over renovate for the area. You really have to look at the area when you go to renovate a property, even if it's your primary residence and you just want to like update your kitchen, update your bathroom, whatever. You never want to over renovate, because a lot of people think that if they put $10,000 or $20,000 into a property, they'll get that money back out. And the reality of it is you might not get the money back out, okay? You might end up putting money into a property and not getting it back out. So you have to be very careful that you don't do that. And when we looked at the cost of filling this in with concrete and raising the roof, it just didn't make any sense. We didn't think that we would get that money back out. Now, that could have been a potential mistake on our end. We could have over renovated the property and ultimately not got a return on our investment. Now, the flip side of the coin, okay, is that when we go to sell the property, somebody's gonna walk in here and be like, man, I hate the step down, I hate the addition. And they don't end up buying it because we didn't do that, okay? And that's one of those things in the flipping business or renovating a property in general. You don't always know for sure, but what you can do is you can look at comparable properties in the neighborhood to determine what level you're gonna renovate the property to. How nice are you gonna make the kitchen? How nice are you gonna make the bathrooms? What are you gonna do, right? And you wanna make it like others in the area. It's super windy outside, so I apologize, okay? I'm gonna jump back inside here in just a minute, so don't click off of the video, but this tree right here, I'll show you what it looked like before, but it was like just way overgrown. The landscaping in general, this property looked horrible. There was like railroad ties and there was like a big like brick wall. And basically I'm like, that tree has got to go. But when we looked at the cost of removing it, it was gonna be like $5,000 at a minimum to remove that tree, okay? So we didn't end up doing it. We ended up just like trimming the heck out of it, and that could be a big mistake, okay? I don't know if the buyer's gonna come and be like, I freaking hate the tree, okay? I don't know, and you never know when you're renovating a property. So just keep that in mind. We're gonna leave it here nice and trimmed up because it didn't fit in our budget, but hopefully the buyers are okay with it. So we're in the master bedroom right now, and another big mistake that we might have potentially made, okay? And we're not gonna know until we ultimately sell the property, but there's a couple of things. So in the master bathroom, the door right over here used to actually be, I wouldn't even really say the door because there's no door here, but the opening used to be over like literally probably almost like 8 inches over. And so basically I looked at it and I was like, this is a master bedroom. Like we need a bigger opening right there. So we moved it over, but we realized like later on that the toilet is right in front of like the entryway and there's no door. So like if you're laying in bed right here and your husband or your wife is in here taking a dump, well, I guess you're just gonna have to deal with it because there's no going back now. So, look, at the end of the day, part of renovating, part of flipping is you can't do everything, right? So you have to really understand, what fits into your budget and what doesn't fit into your budget. And if it doesn't fit into your budget, then ultimately you just have to make sure that there's enough gap like of arbitrage of money, of potential money to be made to where even if somebody gives you a little bit of a lower offer, conservatively, that you still make money on the project. So another big mistake potentially that a lot of people make is ultimately they just do things that don't make a ton of sense, okay? Now, this particular property it had an outdoor laundry, okay? We're standing in the outdoor laundry room right now, and I initially wanted to put the laundry room inside, but we ended up not being able to. Again, it just didn't fit in the budget, right? And that's a big mistake. Some people might have moved the laundry room anyways, but then they would have been way over budget, right? And if they went way over budget, well, then you're not making any money, and you're in the business to make money if you're getting into real estate to do that. Now, if you're renovating your own property and you want to do some major thing that you won't get the money back out of, you can do that, but as long as you might not make your money back. So this is kind of a weird little room. The roof literally angles like at a weird angle, and you have to walk outdoors to do your laundry. So again, you can look at it however you want, but these are different mistakes that I like to look at anytime I'm renovating a property. And I like to really assess, what is gonna be the biggest mistake? me doing something that I might not make my money back on, or me not doing it, and then as a result of that, not being able to sell the house. So there you have it. There's a couple of potential big mistakes, okay? A couple of others include, having the wrong business partner going into a flip property. A couple of others include, maybe not having insurance when you close on the property, not having a good exit strategy, and ultimately not really knowing when you buy the property what you're gonna do with it. There's a lot of different mistakes that people make when renovating their property, but I would say probably the number one biggest mistake is over renovating or under renovating. So either over renovating it for the neighborhood and not being able to get your money back out of it, or under renovating it for the neighborhood and then ultimately not being able to maximize your profit margin, okay? So those are just some of the mistakes when flipping a property. If you stay to the very end of the video, don't click off, and do me a favor before you do. Just smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it. And also, if you haven't already, just consider subscribing. I'm typically talking about business, about finance, and about real estate. I would greatly appreciate that as well. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.